but I still go back to December when I spoke. I feel like we are being held at their bad decisions. Our kids are paying the price for the bad decisions that are happening in Manchester. And I don't understand for the life of me how we can still wait and see. How we can still wait and see. This has been going on too long. Yeah, it's going on too long, and pretty soon the kids are in sixth grade and seventh grade. Our hands are tied.
I hear you. I really do. I hear you. I understand what you're saying, and I agree completely with you. We are held hostage because we have a contract. It's really that simple. We have a contract. We have contracted services with Manchester. It's no different than if we have a contract with the bus company or you hire a painter or you hire anything else. We have a contract with the City of Manchester to provide a service. And that service is the education of our children. Manchester has made the choice to default on that contract. However, the way the contract is written, we can't get out of it unless we pay to get out of it. We couldn't get our community members to support our own budget. Granted, it was a 24-vote sway to the negative, but until we have community support from Candia, until there's an upswell from the community to finally say, enough is enough, we're stuck in this contract until 2023. And so we're doing the best that we possibly can to work with the team from Manchester to come up with solutions for at least the majority of the kids from Candia, which would be a central high school solution. Manchester is a very large city. It's an urban environment nowadays. It's changed significantly over the last several years. But they have significant challenges due to this tax cap, due to their financial challenges, which is not an excuse to default on the contract that they have with Candia, but they're in a significant challenge. They can fix Candia and Central and then continue on and try to fix everything else. They could prioritize and take care of the sending districts. How do they look then if they do that to their own community? I think there are a lot of really great board members, especially Kathy being here tonight, that are working diligently, doing everything they possibly can to get rid of the drama, get rid of the politics, because quite frankly, education should not be a political pawn, but unfortunately there are individuals who do that. The education should be the most important thing of anybody. The education is what makes or breaks a community, right? We have people moving in. I've got new neighbors moving in near me, and they're coming into this town and into this town because we've got a great school. We've done some amazing things here. We've got this great K-8. We have an incredible staff. We have great successes with these students, and they're coming here. But then they're also saying, on the flip side, we have families that are leaving because they're so scared about going into Manchester for high school. They're terrified. And so Manchester has the ability to fix things at Central, and we're going to continue to try to find those solutions and talk with the mayor tonight and see if we can continue to do that. We're going to continue to talk with all of our state representatives and the Department of Education and encourage them to work with Manchester to fix their issues. We hope that the community, creates some sort of an organization to find out really what does the community of Candia want to do. If not Central, then where? Or do you want to stay with Central, and what does that look like? Help us with those communications with the board. But at this point,
yeah. The community is willing to pay to get out of the contract. We're in it.
Yeah, but it's clear right now because all these families are getting permission to send their kids elsewhere. I mean, that's the clear statement. If you read the budget, the board minutes, you see approval, 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 going to Londonderry, going to Pinkerton. I mean, a class of 50-something kids, what's going to be the percentage that's going out of not going to Central? I mean, that 8th grade class is small. I mean, people need to look at that. That, to me, sends the message very clearly.
I guess the bottom line is we don't have, we don't have all those answers, but we do, we're continuing to have those conversations and the communication because we have to work with Central.
And we have
We
2
have
more
to
board
work
members
with
who've just joined us, so.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Other questions that, for opportunity for the public? Yes, Dave?
I have one question and then
Dave Fisher.
2 quick comments. Dave Fisher, you don't recognize the voice. Is there a clause in the contract with Manchester that forces us to pay? The reason I'm asking that, Nicole just said that, if it's a contract with a painter or another bus company or something like that. I've been in the construction industry for over 40 years. I've dealt with, $1.5, $2 million contracts at the college. If someone's not performing, a contractor's not performing the contract, you hold payment until they fix the contract, till they fix the problem. Is there something in the clause in this contract that says we can't withhold payment until they fix it?
No. There's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's anything in our contract that can say we're not gonna pay.
And they are
And-
educating our children.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the other piece to it. There are clearly issues, but there is also, our children are getting a very good education at Central. And I think that's that is a key piece to it, is the fact that we don't have droves of parents coming here demanding, get my kid out of here. It's not happening. So I think that, there's a balance. So there's clearly issues, and we recognize, but there's also some very positive things that are also happening.
Right.
So we're trying to get that.
Dave, also keep in mind that if we were to make the decision to withhold funds, we're gonna hurt our children.
Right, I'm just,
We're gonna hurt every.
Nicole
all
made
of
the
children.
analogy of dealing with, other contracts and contractors. I mean, that's
Well,
how
and
it
that's-
But we're
works.
withholding, we're upholding our end,
Right.
so.
We're upholding our end, and we expect them to uphold their end, and we're gonna talk more about that tonight. And I think that the Candia team, we're working to find solutions.
Fine.
We don't wanna be antagonistic. We also, and I know you've heard me say this probably too many times, you get tired of hearing me say this, but I cannot in good conscience spend money on lawyers that should be spent on our K through 8 kids, because that's what our budget is, essentially. It's our K through 8 kids. Obviously, we have a high school budget
And I
too.
appreciate you for that
Thank you.
comment. It's just that we have a lot of upset parents that are seeing things from the outside. I know that,
Sure.
you're holding some things and everything else, but good.
I wanted to know, I see that the mayor has arrived, welcome, and some other board members. So I wanted to know what your plan was for the rest of that. You kind of were in the public input portion, but I would hope that we would be able to have an open dialogue still throughout that part, or that they'll stay till the end when there's public input, so that we can get some more information if people have questions and stuff.
Well, I think we're gonna have to kind of wait and see how things go with us, because we have asked board members here to really help us and talk with us and have this be a collaborative group with their board and our board, and having those conversations. And based on time and where we're at, absolutely, we try to keep it as open as possible, and having feedback, back and forth, and being able to ask those questions. But I think we're just gonna kind of have to wait and see how things go, and also make sure that it's not very individualized, because obviously what we're talking as a board about all of our students from Candia and going to the Manchester school system, and vice versa. But
Well, I was just gonna say, just to clarify, and maybe that's my mistake, if you will, but I sent the letter over to Mayor Gatzis and to the board members, and we so appreciate you being here. But I asked them to come for a board discussion, whereas I probably should have said, please come for a community forum, so the difference being, board discussion is you have a discussion with the board. Community forum is you field questions from the community. And Candia, we're a little bit smaller, so we have these back and forth sorts. But normally we should be following the Roberts rules and all this other stuff. So I think that tonight it's going to be a board discussion, But if there are questions, we're still in the public point, so if there's any other questions that you think that we're not gonna, we're pretty well prepared with an awful lot of questions. We've got a pretty good list. If we're missing something,
Well,
wave me
I
down.
haven't seen your list, so I don't know what you're going to ask.
You can read my mind.
And, you know, perhaps maybe, you know, and again, I guess it was kind of an afterthought or a
My mistake.
misthought, because that would have been nice to put that out too, so that you could get input from the public. I'm not sure if we know the decision on the vacation schedule for Central, because that does affect, okay? And was there officially a cap on the 30 classes? Because I was really discouraged to see that for the second semester, despite all of the conversations that we had first semester, the second semester, the max enrollment for a lot of classes was 35. I felt like there, you know, at least put it at 30, and then if you have to go over, but this was saying, to me, we're not gonna make it 30 no matter what. So, and again, you know, I'm sorry, so you do have specific questions to ask, which is great. I just also, as long as I have the floor, wanted to just point out, I'm sorry.
We're gonna start with that 3 minute thing.
I know. Yes, well, I know, I'm still done. I just wanted to say that, I know that you're working, but I feel like we're not getting, and I know that the answer's not an easy one, but I feel like we're not getting any answers. We went to a December meeting, we weren't allowed, or a November meeting, we weren't allowed to speak. Then we were allowed to speak at a December meeting, and we were told we were gonna ask teachers to work extra. And we got the report back that they said they needed to talk about that. Here it is April. And I just feel like we have no control whatsoever, and I guess we don't. I don't understand the point about, you know, we have to pay to get out even if they're in default of the contract, or breach of the contract. I don't understand that. That just blows my mind, but those are my comments and questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Karen.
I